Hello, welcome. Are you the type of person that likes to go to the grocery store early morning when they're stocking and putting items in the produce section that are reduced in price? Will you go even without a list? And hopefully you know what you have on hand at home, with the whole purpose to bargain hunt, stretch your budget, and dine well on less money. That's what I do. This morning, after my workout, I had a little list. I had a coupon, had coupons, and knew what was on sale. And also, I visit a number of stores often enough that I tend to have an idea of when they're going to reduce certain items and where to look, where the bargain bins are. It changes based on store to store. I like the hunt, the bargain shopping, and to get creative. I menu plan every week, and I also modify that menu based on what's in season, what's on sale, and then basically what sounds good. Especially if I score an amazing bargain like last week. They had at Kroger Smith's, is what they call the store in Salt Lake, uh, lion's mane mushrooms. And I've only recently been eating those and love the texture. If I smash the entire thing or pull the lion's mane into shreds, and the texture and the smokiness with very little seasoning, though you can marinate it and do amazing things with lion's mane's mushrooms. They're very delicate though, so it needs to be cooked, though, you can prepare it and then put them in the freezer. Lots of fun things to do. I want to show you my haul here on my kitchen counter. I scored a number of lovely things, and I only spent $25 on these things with the reduced prices. Plus, I had some really great coupons that even further reduced the price. And based on what I have on hand, I'm going to be able to put together some really great meals. The meals that I'm putting together, I'm going to have on the thumbnail. And just to give you an idea of how, as someone who lives on their own, I'm living on a tight budget, I work a number of jobs, and as an older adult, I want to eat well, and I also want to make the most of my money so I can have more experiences and less stuff. That's my goal in life. Let me show you what I got. Gonna lower the camera a little bit here. Excuse the shakiness. My tech stuff is not really fancy, just doing my best with my phone. I got some strawberries, and these were on sale for $2.99, so it wasn't incredibly amazing, though I did have a coupon for 80 cents off of two. I'm going to eat some of these fresh. I'm also going to freeze some of them, have them on oatmeal, just on their own, on salads. I also got, this one was kind of the most annoying. I found these little red bags in the produce section. They used to be 99 cents, a dollar, and then they went up to $1.25. Still a great deal. It's just a different types of apples in here. And since it's fall, it's the first part of October, I like to cook apples a lot. I'll eat them fresh too, but what I had in mind for these was to cook them down either in some whole grain pancakes, and because when I scanned them, the tag snapped off and I crashed this onto the self-checkout, and you see the bruise? Ugh, I was so mad. I was cussing up a blue storm at the store. The cashier was looking at me like, wow, lady. Just made me mad. Though, I mean, I'll just cut that out. It's no big deal. So this morning, I suddenly changed my mind on what I thought I was going to have for breakfast, and now I'm going to have a apple spice, uh, let's see, I have walnuts, maybe pecans, definitely greens. If you haven't seen how I make my oatmeal, I always put greens into um, basically everything, though, especially with morning oatmeal and baby spinach is just so mild. It's very sweet. Though cooking these down, might even throw some raisins in there. I can make a big batch of that, so any of the apples that have little dents or bumps or those type of things, that's an easy fix. So the bargain price of this, I can stretch this and make this into mini meals. And if there's one that's still in really neato shape, then I will just stick that in the fridge and save that for later in the week, maybe as a dessert, cut it and have it with some the peanut butter. I buy the dehydrated, the PB2, PB Fit powder, and have that as a dessert. So there's that. Bargain. I also got some baby arugula coming up next week. I am a health educator and a coach and work in public health, wear many hats. A few of the gals that I'm working with, we are deciding to take the Nutritarian Challenge with Dr. Joel Fuhrman. It's a 10-day challenge to have one enormous salad with either your lunch or your dinner for 10 days, and it can be paired with any type of meal plan. I follow the starch solution, and that is a whole food, plant-based, oil-free meal plan. I've been practicing that since 2016. It's been miraculous, saved my life, improved my life in ways that I didn't believe possible. And I want to take that a step further because I've met Dr. Fuhrman before, and I was recently in Las Vegas for the plant powered party, and he was there presenting again. Part of it was an honorarium for the late great Dr. John McDougall, who created the Starch Solution, which is the program like I said, I've been following. He really inspired me to, both of them inspired me. Sorry, I'm losing my train of thought here. So excited to share this with you. Dr. Fuhrman's approach goes a bit deeper, and he had a really great slide in his presentation comparing his Nutritarian approach alongside the starch solution and looking at micronutrients. And as I am getting older, I turned 60 this year, which felt like a wonderful celebration considering a lot of the chronic illnesses that I'm managing. I've been living with dual hip replacement since 2011 and am fit, I'm active, I'm independent, and I want to stay that way. So the 10-day challenge with the people that I'm coaching, we're deciding to delve in a little bit deeper and just combine that salad approach with our current meal plan. Not everyone I work with, and certainly people in my life, don't eat the same way that I do, though everyone can benefit by having more vegetables, especially leafy greens, in their diets. I'm gonna test this out. I'm gonna keep track of things, post some videos, have some shares about the different varieties of salads, the different types of dressings that are recommended, and the results of that. With the arugula that I bought here, it was $1.50 for this. Now these are delicate greens. To store these greens, I'm probably going to be able to eat this in the next 2 or 3 days, though I will just open it up and then go through and make sure if there's not anything that's already, started to spoil and get gooey. And I will put a paper towel. You don't want to clean them until you're ready to eat them. Though if you put a paper towel that helps to draw the moisture away, these will stay in the fridge longer in your crisper drawer. That's how I store these. These can also be frozen. I've done that before with arugula, and especially if you're going to use it for, say, a pasta sauce or a stew or a casserole or something like that, these freeze really well. The next goodie I got some little sliced white mushrooms. Another aspect of Dr. Furman's nutritarian approach, and I'm not being sponsored, it's just I like to do science projects with myself as someone who I've taught nutrition, I've worked in the field of health since 1996, and I practice what I preach, and I'm also happy to make myself my own science experiment as I'm exploring. You know, we do this all the time. Think about all the times that you're eating something new, trying something new, whether it's a new diet or maybe it's just, you know, holidays are coming, so feeling that it's okay to indulge type of thing. And I see nothing wrong with that. My motto has always been eat what you want and take responsibility for those dietary consequences. So if I'm ever in a position where I'm going to feast on something that I know maybe will give me a headache or a stomach ache or something like that, I'm not going to kick myself. I'm going to accept that I'm going to put something in my mouth that perhaps I'm going to pay for it later in a negative way. So there you go. Though for the most part, I would say that the large percentage of the time since I have adopted the Start Solution and eaten this way, the positive benefits have been so miraculous. I don't have the cravings for the foods that in the past, especially as a younger woman, when I would, you know, I felt like, okay, I'm, you know, work out all the time, I play sports, I'm staying lean, you know, I had the benefit for a while of being able to eat what I want and stay within a certain weight range, though internally that was causing damage that I wasn't seeing right away. So, you know, I respect my younger self for being naive and foolish, though. I'm 60 now. I want to live longer. I want to travel, do all those fun things. Back to the mushrooms. Mushrooms are so versatile, and Dr. Furman promotes a G-bomb approach to have greens, mushrooms, onions, berries, and seeds every single day, and beans. That um, I'm I'm gonna delve deeper in that one. I'm taking on the salad part first. I certainly enjoy mushrooms, though it wasn't a food that I had thought about incorporating every single day, though I'm steering towards that. With mushrooms, I'm going to be water sauteing these with some other vegetables because I have some other recipes in mind with other things that I've purchased. Like broccoli, there was some broccoli florets, and with these, I am going to clean these and steam them, put some of them in the fridge to have on a salad or with a meal, and then the other ones I'm going to freeze. So since this one, it it looks like it's ready, needs to be eaten right away, so blanch it, steam it, you know, whatever, and that way it will prevent it from spoiling. That's how I'm gonna handle this one. I got an avocado, it's 99 cents, so I'm gonna have this with a big salad. So I've got some items that I want to make kind of a Mexicali type of a salad. I have some cashews and some cilantro from last week that's starting to wilt, and there's a cashew cilantro cream dressing. Pretty sure that one came from Forks Over Knives, though. That's the joy of being online and YouTube and Google searches. There are so many ways to find great recipes, especially if you're looking to add more plants, eat leaner, and avoid oil. That's just a top tip there. I also found these. these. I hadn't planned on buying tomatoes, though when I saw the size, look at this bag for $1.25, all of this goodness. These, because some of them are definitely, I mean, they're, you know, when you feel them and think, ooh, okay. So I'll definitely check them when I wash them and prepare them. Though these are going to be quartered, and I am going to roast these with some onion and garlic and just do a slow, long roast to really draw out all of that moisture. And that way, these are going to stay good for a while. I can use them this week. I could put some in the freezer. There's a lot of different things to do with roasted tomatoes. They're so versatile, so yummy. I like to have them with pasta, also with rice, or again, even with, once I roast them down and put them in little containers, I could blend that and make a really yummy vinaigrette with like a balsamic reduction, or even have them on some toasty bread. And speaking of bread, they had an artisan loaf of some sourdough that was 50% off, so I got that. Most of this will just go into the freezer. I've got a lemony chickpea wild rice salad that soup that I'm making for dinner tonight. So I'll have a little bit of this out that I'll have with that soup for dinner. I already had all of those items on hand to make that recipe, and when I saw this half off, I love sourdough. Eating fermented foods are really, really good for gut health, and I just love the taste. It's yummy. Though by putting it in the freezer, especially when it's the bigger, you know, it's not stale, though sourdough is more forgiving, I've found. And when I just put this bag in the freezer, I can easily just pull off, you know, a little slice when it's frozen and throw it in the toaster. Another thing I thought of doing with this is to make like an orangey French toast. And how I do French toast as someone who is plant-based, let me show you an ingredient. I have, it's an egg replacer, and I came across this long time ago. It's just an egg substitute, and so I used it. There's a lot of ways that you can substitute eggs in baking, though it's really remarkable that you can use it for things like, you know, how you would make French toast. And I mean, you know, I've cooked that plenty of times, and when my son was still at home and when I was partnered, I was cooking for people who didn't eat the way I did, and you know, have no qualms in doing so. Though now that I'm cooking just for me, then I can make things just the way I want them. Yay me. You can also make a quiche out of this, and I've only done it one other time. It's really labor intensive and making the crust and all that type of thing. That's something that I'll only do like once or twice a year type of thing. I like to streamline, and I batch cook, and because I work multiple jobs and I'm busy, I like to keep things easy. A few other things I got. Look at this. I was almost just gonna buy one pepper because they were on sale for 89 cents each, so I got 4 of them for $1.25. With these, I am definitely going to be doing a saute, probably some of them with the mushrooms, definitely with an onion, and this can easily go in little, you know, save in the freezer for future recipes, whether I want to have pasta, perhaps a pizza, fajitas. Ooh, okay, there's an idea, because I also found they had portobello mushrooms, and this was $2.19 for 2 portobellos. These I love because they're so yummy to marinate, and you know, whether you want to cut them in slices, I really enjoy these in like a fajita type salad, or with tortillas. I like the corn tortillas since I have a gas stove, you can see. I like to char the corn tortillas when I warm them and put them in the little taco holders when I make tacos. And that would be just a delicious. I could prep all of this ahead of time. So my thought was with the portobellos that I would marinate one with like a lime, soy sauce, red rice wine vinegar type of a thing for an Asian type salad or a rice bowl, and then have the other one for the fajitas as I thought of that. I also needed salsa, so I got some salsa, got an onion because I'm gonna need that for many things, and all of this, one more, these beautiful little baby lettuce. I really love the delicate, I like the variety, these little teeny lettuce heads, and especially if I'm just going to be putting together a little salad just for me. It was on sale. I had an 80-cent off coupon, and I mean, yeah, they are really delicate, so you have to be really careful with these. And a registered dietitian, I went to a class, they had a workshop at a cooking school at one of the stores I go to, and she said the easiest way to keep these from spoiling is you actually just, I've got some tin foil here, you don't clean it, just put it in, I've got a little square of tin foil, and I'm just going to wrap it really, really tight. So wrap it around, cover up the ends, so I'm just rolling this up together, just really, really tight. I have tested this out on so many different types of lettuce, and it is remarkable how long these will last. I will buy the bigger romaines, and I've rolled those up tight in tinfoil like this, and they'll stay good for up to 2 weeks, sometimes even longer. It's been really amazing. So this is how I'm going to store these, because then it also makes better use of my crisper drawer, since you might not be able to fully see, because I live in a historic home, which, I mean, when you see that here, this is the length of my kitchen. It was a home built, before the turn of the century. So I love it. It's really unique, though it's very tiny. And they had to get a special size fridge just because the width and the space that's available is itty bitty. And since I do eat a lot of plants, it gets kind of tricky for me to be able to store, and I don't mind, stopping at the store here and there. It's kind of fun for me, especially this time of year, since it's harvest season and there's still farmers markets going on, and if I just have a spur of the moment thought of a recipe or something comes to mind, then I can easily stock up and fill in as I go. But my crisper drawer is just little, and when I store things like this, then it's easier than, say, if I was just going to put this entire container in the fridge. So this was $3.49, and I had an 80-cent off coupon. Plus, I had a coupon for $2 off a produce purchase of $10 or more. So I scored bargain here. So this might not seem like a lot, though, if you consider how I'm going to pair this with a starch. That's the whole point of the starch solution, is that I pair these meals with pasta, whether it's whole grain or regular. I eat the white too, white rice, brown rice, wild rice, corn. I eat a lot of potatoes with the sweet potatoes. There's purple potatoes right now at Trader Joe's that I'm cubing, and then I air fry them. And I also do a veggie loaded hash brown. Once it gets closer to the holidays, I might show it sooner, but there's a holiday hash brown recipe that my son's asked for that as a Christmas Eve dinner before. So it's just It's colorful, it matches the traditional colors of Christmas, and so easy to make and so filling. It's just delicious. If this has been useful for you, if you found it interesting, want me to make more videos like this, let me know. I am new to YouTube. My name's Tiffany Anderson. I am the founder of Anderson Therapeutics. As I said earlier, I have worked in the field of health since 1996 as an alternative healthcare provider, as well as health educator, teacher, public health worker, all sorts of things. The main focus of my work is simply because health matters to me. I was an athlete. I played a lot of sports in school, and I didn't really learn to cook well until I married my son's dad. We've been divorced for a long time, though. My mother-in-law, a dear woman who, she's been gone for a while, she taught me to cook, and I fell in love with cooking. I love to cook. It relaxes me, it calms me, and the more I learned about healthy eating and nutrition, especially before I became a mom, I was just fascinated. So even long before I adopted a plant-based diet, I've always been a bit of a foodie. My parents, grandparents, great-grandparents all grew up on farms, whether they were, just raising crops or raising animals or a combination of the two. So being around a lot of fresh fruits, fresh vegetables, foods raised more naturally was a very lucky part of my childhood. And everyone I knew as a child, even in the suburbs, everyone had a huge garden. So there were always, harvest time, and, people had fruit trees in their yards. That to me has been a really great benefit that set the foundation. So when I moved into more vegetarian and then later on adopting this way of eating, it wasn't a tough transition for me. So wherever you're at in your dietary plan right now, I encourage you to eat more plants. Whether you're hardcore, my son is a steak guy, and I mean, he's been grown and gone for a long time. He's 38. I've been an empty nester for a long time. And he also loves my food. So anytime I've, hosted him and his sweetheart for dinner, or last year at Thanksgiving, I asked him, I'm happy to make, I can cook whatever he wants. I'm a great cook. And he always, never fails. He'll say, eat what, make what you eat, Mom. I love your cooking. And makes me happy. And this food makes me happy. Helps me to age well. And that is the purpose of this channel, is that I am sharing. I just knocked off the mic, so I don't know if you can hear anything. The purpose of my channel, aging well. And for me, the foundation of that is food, because food is my medicine. Thanks for watching. I will put information in the description about my website. All of the information there is free. There's a free gift, all sorts of great goodies to help you better manage chronic conditions, to age well, dine well, whether you're a caretaker, wherever you're at in life. Eat more plants. Thanks for watching. Bye.